Good evening and welcome to this session of the live virtual classes Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Today, we are going to take up the topic called Audit and Auditors. It's a natural going to move now to Audit and Auditors. The provisions relating to the various, audit and auditors, how the auditors are appointed, how the auditors are, remunerated, qualifications of an auditor, etc. Now, as we get into the topic, let us look at the important subtopics that we are going to, a sort of overview of the topic, so that we will know what is in store for us. Okay. This is basically Chapter 10 of the Companies Act 2013, which has the corresponding companies, audit and auditors rule. The law will simply say, as may be prescribed. Therefore, the entire, the procedure or the way of doing it is now left to the central government to prescribe. So central government will prescribe it through the rules. Of course, because of this approach, there are many overlaps between the rules and the sections. So that same topic will be spoken by both the section and will be invariably given in the law. How it is to be done will be given both in the law as well as in the rules. Read both. So long as there is no conflict, we have no problem. If there is a conflict, we have to resolve it. Instruction or interpretation, as you have already, or maybe you're going to learn in this, or maybe later on in your final, I don't know, wherever you will learn it. Now, coming to this topic, so you have appointment of auditors. Under that, you have first auditor and subsequent auditor. Okay. The appointment of the first auditor is different from the subsequent auditor. The company is incorporated, first auditor. From the first AGM onwards, subsequent auditor. So the first AGM onwards, the auditor appointment is called subsequent auditor, which we will see. Sequence will go to removal, resignation, etc., etc. Whereas I finish that and then only come to removal, resignation, etc. In fact, I would even start with eligibility, qualification, disqualification, move on to appointment, then removal, remuneration, powers and duties, etc. So this is how I will go about it. Prohibited services technically comes in 144. So that is 144, section 144. But we will see it along with qualification. I will mix it. So if some of you are having the institute material with you, which is a wonderful resource, it has been updated. Your May 26 material is completely up to date and updated, user-friendly document. No need for any other textbook. No need for any other textbook. Watch them again on video if you want. That is it. You really do not need any other thing. Board of Studies is providing all the support you will need for getting very high marks in this examination. So, but as faculty here, enabling the knowledge transfer process, I will take the liberty of moving some of these sections. Because then only your appreciation and understanding will become better. That is, this methodology whose photo is just in front of me. And so based on that, he always says, finish qualification and disqualification, then only you can talk about appointment, removal, etc., etc. So that is the methodology that we might try to adopt today. Right? Then powers and duties, then signing of a report, auditor, and then punishment as usual. Finally, we will go to the topic of cost auditor, which is unrelated but not unconnected. I make my point carefully. It is unconnected, but not unrelated. It is not directly connected to audit, but it is related in as much as cost audit. Okay. So with this, we will move to. So again, I'm telling those of you who are having material with you will be shocked and surprised that I'm not going to the first section. I'm going to go to the 141. Okay. Please. Also, please sort of emotionally prepare yourself for this approach, which is the correct approach for learning. Okay. The institute has given it in the section order, rightly. Our pedagogy, our learning, I'm going to go for a certain different approach. Sorry. So you have qualification. First qualification, then only disqualification. Who can be an auditor? Chartered accountant. Means as defined under the Chartered Accountant Act. By definition, a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. The definition of chartered account is given in the preliminary part. You may refer to that. A member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India having a right to practice, a certificate of practice. There can be two categories here. One is an individual, a proprietary concern, and individual who is a member of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. And then you have the firm, means a group of chartered accountants coming together as a firm or even an LLP. LLP is also accepted. Okay, LLP is also accepted under the Companies Act. LLP can be a thing. Though institute has got certain norms, etc., if we can form under the specific conditions, LLP can also be a auditor. Limited liability can also be a auditor. Firm can also be an auditor. See, when you say firm, the firm will be appointed from the point of view of appointment, but the actual audit will be conducted by a partner, and the signing will be happening by a partner. One partner. At least the company is an artificial juridical person. Firm has no identity of its own. LLP is a body corporate, remember. But even then, LLP cannot sign. It will be artificial. Therefore, a partner, a member of our institute should be there. So in a firm of chartered accountancy, under the Companies Act, even other professionals can join. With a chartered accountant, a company secretary, a cost accountant, a lawyer, all are coming to valuation, a registered valuer. Actually, all can come together to form a firm. But for that firm to be appointed as an auditor of a company, majority of the partners who are practicing in India should be members of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. So, however, other people are there, members should be, majority should be. Our chartered accountants can sign on behalf of firm. Okay, means member of our institute, member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Okay. In fact, very proud. Believe me, all of you should get that pride of becoming members of our institute. This is not just a qualification like engineering, etc. Even for that matter, medical, where you get a certificate, you are qualified. No, you are becoming a member of a. See, even if you look at advocates, they go to a 5-year law course or a 2-year, 3-year LLB, and then they have to apply for membership with the Bar Council of the respective state where they want to practice. Here in India, once you qualify final and satisfy all the criteria, articleship, advanced MCS, etc., you can apply directly. You have to apply again for a membership, but it is automatic. Once you satisfy all the criteria, you become a member of our institute. Membership to the institute is the goal, not passing the exam. Passing the final exam is only one stage in your becoming a member of the institute. So just for your information, I'm telling this. So becoming a member, being a member, it's very, very important. So I also make this point. It may be my I don't know about that, Anil. Because in India, we will see that one of the disqualification for, in fact, the very first disqualification is body corporate. Okay. So very first disqualification for a an auditor is company. A company cannot be a auditor of a, maybe they might start some private limited company for consulting work, or other than audit, they might be having some private limited company, etc. If you want to sign a balance sheet, then you have to be a firm or LLP. So they say a body corporate cannot be appointed as an auditor. There the exception they give is limited liability partnership. LLP can be an auditor. That's in this exception, they allow LLP to be an auditor of a company, right? So other than that, body corporate cannot be. I hope that doubt is clarified. So a firm of a group of chartered accountants can always form a company, but the services they render cannot be those that are offered to be given by a firm, like auditing services. No, cannot be given by a company under the Companies Act. Yeah. Excuse me, who's that? Somebody has to mute. Excuse me. Excuse me, please. Please mute yourself. Sir, please. Sir. Tech support, sir. Kindly mute everybody except me. Sir, mute everybody, sir. Ashok ji. I don't know who's unmuted and talking. Please. Kindly refrain from unmuting and talking, whoever it is. बच्चे अनम्यूट करके गल्लां करते हैं. Don't know. I've told once or twice. How many times I can tell? Okay, and please don't also raise your hand because you cannot talk. Just put your question in the chat. Just put your question in the chat and I will answer it. Okay, please don't raise your hand. One second, I'll see who is unmuted. Nobody is unmuted. Except me. Anshu. Okay. Okay. Am I audible? Sir, please ask somebody. Sir, somebody is giving background noise, sir. Please mute, sir. I have muted all. Okay, thank you. Okay, please raise your queries in the chat box. Definitely, I will see it and I will answer your query. A body corporate, so body corporate company cannot be an auditor. So as sign balance sheet and certify the balance sheet of a company, right? As I said, a group of CAs may form a firm, may form a company for rendering consulting services, other type of services, which should not be forming part of our institute activity, some other services. But be careful. There are some more prohibitions coming later in 144 as to what they can do and what they cannot do. They cannot do both. Okay, so be careful. Mr. Anil, just concentrate on the topic and then ask the question. Don't be in a hurry to ask questions. Questions can come later. First, concentrate on the topic. And yeah, just my suggestion to you, just wait for a topic to get over and then ask the questions. For example, after I finish all the disqualifications, you can ask your question. Disqualification is a very important topic from exam point of view. I'm being very blunt and frank here. Knowledge point of view, yes. Exam point of view, also. Okay. So please concentrate, try to understand, and then we can ask questions. Okay. This is a humble suggestion. An officer or employee of the company cannot be an auditor, obviously because of independence. An auditor who is signing the balance sheet of a company, the statutory auditor, as we call him, should be independent, should form an opinion which is independent. An officer of the company could be a director or a key managerial personnel. or an employee who is receiving salary from the company, which means whether he likes it or not, however independent he may think he is, an employee is an employee. His paycheck is coming from the MD. So he will not have the guts to go and tell the MD, I will not sign, or he will qualify like that. Therefore, right from time memorial, when the auditing profession came, first thing they said, employee of a company officer cannot be an auditor. Similarly, a person who is a partner or is in employment with an officer or employee of the company. Correct. So let us look at it from to understand it better. Let us try to. This is the company, right? Then that company has officer or employee, right? Now that officer or employee cannot become an auditor. Officer is a wide term. It includes all directors. It includes company secretary. Okay. It includes CFO, CEO, CFO. Everybody is an officer. In addition to that, those who are not officers, as defined in the Companies Act, but receiving salary, who are receiving a monthly salary, who are employees, who have an employer-employee relationship. Okay. See, strictly speaking, today we are moving from normal employment to gig or gig. Whatever it is, bottom line, you call it consulting, you call it what you want. But bottom line, does the man have independence in the way he does the work? Is he accountable for his time? Is there time for which he has to be under your control and supervision? If these two are answered, yes, or he has no control over the manner of performance. Two, he has to report for a certain period of time, maybe half a day, one full day, whatever, quarter day. If these two are yes, he is accountable for time, he has no control over the manner of doing the job. He will, this is what you have to do, you have to do. Then, of course, he might have a skill, but what has to be done, I only tell him. He doesn't decide the manner of performance. So if these are satisfied, then that gentleman or lady is an employee. Okay. Whereas if that person is not accountable for time, only for goal achievement, and the manner of performance, see, you will tell him what you want. For example, my client calls me and hires me and says, Sashikant, please help us to win this appeal. I go, how I handle the case, my responsibility. You don't come and tell me what to do. Then I am a consultant, I am an independent contractor. This is the clear definition of employee and contractor. So that's a very, very important, because many contracted, they say they're contract consultant like that. Basically, these criteria will be there. Therefore, though they may be strictly calling themselves consultant, they're basically employees. Okay, so an officer or employee. Now, this officer or employee may be a partner in a firm of chartered accountants, or he may be a sole proprietor. It's nothing wrong. Our institute does not prohibit a person in employment to hold a COP. Such a person will be called a member in part-time practice. I'm a member in full-time practice. I don't do anything else. My whole time is spent in practice. There could be somebody who's employed, who's holding a COP called member in part-time practice. Nothing wrong. Such an employee may be a firm firm. Okay. So that partner also cannot be the auditor of this company, because the officer or employee of this company is a partner or the proprietor of that. So if he's a proprietor, his employee cannot become an auditor. Okay. So these are the disqualifications. All these disqualifications, independence. The basic problem here is independence. They want to be sure that the person who is auditing the company's books of account should be independent. One more criteria, very, very important, 141 subsection 3, very, very important. Please try to remember this, because in the exam they might ask you a question which is fairly easy to answer if you know the slide. If this slide you are able to capture and keep in your mind, you can answer any question. But be careful. That's all I would say. First criteria, the auditor, the person or his relative or partner should not hold any security of or interest in the company. See, security of is not a problem. Company having share capital, security of. Company not having share capital are there now. There it will be interest. Are you able to understand why they have put interest? Because there could be. Now don't, if you want to ask me, sorry, possible, then you can count it in your fingers. Okay, that much only. But still they have had, from the old law, they are still having company not having share capital. That is useless actually. 9.95% will be only companies having share capital. In which case, that auditor or his relative or partner should not be holding any security of or interest in the company or in subsidiary or of its holding or associate company or subsidiary of such holding company. If you analyze this blue circle, you will come across so many things. Remember, if you put diagram for it. Let's do it. You have the company, its a subsidiary, its a holding company, another subsidiary, we call it co-subsidiary. This is subsidiary first level, subsidiary second level. Co-subsidiary, lastly, associate company. Correct? Are you able to see the diagram which I have put on the screen? If you copy it in your paper, easily you can remember, sir. All these words, can be easily remembered. This one diagram. The partner, the auditor, the person who is to be appointed as an auditor, his relative or his partner should not hold any security in the company. Right? The company. Sorry. The company, its subsidiary, correct? Its holding or associate or a subsidiary of such holding company. That's it. Company, its subsidiary, its holding, associated company, which is holding 20% in this company, and or this company is holding 20% there, whatever, and yes, co-subsidiary, same level subsidiary. That is another subsidiary of its holding company. None of this you should be holding. Okay. And one exception, only for security. Only for security. Shares. Only for shares. They use the word holding any security. There may preference shares are also covered. Debentures are also covered. Security is a wider term than share. Okay, wider term. Security is defined in the Securities Contract Regulation Act. It is also defined in Companies Act, referring to Securities Contract Regulation Act. Therein, security is a wide term. It includes derivatives, shares, debentures, warrants, stock. Everything is included in that. Okay. So they cannot hold any security of or interest in the company, its subsidiary, its holding, any associate company, any subsidiary of such a holding company. See, by this diagram being in my mind, as if from memory I can write. You're able to understand? As if from memory. There is an advantage of using diagrams. When you use diagrams, it is easier to remember. This is again a great innovation that was used by my guru, Professor K. Sanantharaman, who wrote the famous book Lectures on Company Law. I'm not talking now. In late 70s, early 80s onwards, he started teaching. From that time, from 80s onwards, to my knowledge, I became a student in 1985. I have known him from 1985 to his demise in 2014. I was initially his student. Then I became a co-faculty along with him. I mean, I am always a student. I was always a student. Till the very last moment, I was a student. I learned from him every day. Something or the other he taught me. And one of the greatest innovations that KSA, as we called him, KS Anantaraman, as we called him, used to do was to use diagrams. I used that a lot. Thereafter, I picked it up from him and I started developing my own diagrams. So instead of just copying his diagrams, I developed my own diagrams. You'll see a lot of my diagrams also coming up. It's simple. Take a concept, use arrows, boxes, circles, decision things and all that. It's similar to flowcharting, except that it is not as rigid as flowcharting. You need not be so rigid. So long as the concept flow of idea, flow of time, whatever, we use it. You can see it is not something that only the faculty has to use. Even you can use it if it will help you to remember it better. But be careful while using diagrams. Please ensure that the diagram is truthful to the content. Please do not create your own diagram thinking something which is not as per the law. That is important. Be careful about it. So read, reread, internalize, appreciate, understand, create the diagram, remember. That is how we overcome this topic. That is how some people keep on asking, I'm not able to remember. How do I do? Draw diagrams. And create the diagram, your memory will be triggered. The act of creating a diagram will trigger your memory and make you remember. Think like that. So, in fact, recently for the Institute of Company Secretaries, last about 2 years, I'm taking a corporate restructuring, valuation, and insolvency, complete IBBC. So, I've never read the IBBC before. For teaching alone, I started reading IBBC from basic sections 8, 7, 9, 10. 7, 8, 10, all that I started reading, understanding, diagrammatizing, and using diagrams throughout. And I started teaching them. So it is easy. Practically new subject. Please understand, I have never read IBC before. Okay, and I don't practice IBC. But for the purpose of teaching, I read it, internalized it, understood it. It's not difficult. Okay, once you make up your mind, it's not. If you keep on saying not possible, it won't be. The minute you say, I will do it. So, to make your work easier only, I have created such diagrams also. You can also create your own diagrams. Okay. So, the exception for security is relative may hold shares of face value not exceeding 1 lakh. Face value. That face value means nominal value. That is, if you buy a share, 10 rupees share, you buy it at 45 rupees. That means you pay 55 rupees. Out of that, 10 rupees is the face value. 45 is the premium. So here they are talking about face value. Okay. Be very, very careful. See, so if you want to buy one share of Infosys, is 1 rupee. Okay. But today's price is, you check it out, whatever it is. Okay. Maybe 1,500, 1,600, whatever it is, XYZ. Doesn't matter. Point is, they are talking about that 1 rupee. That means face value 1 rupee means 1 lakh worth the shares. 1 lakh worth the shares of Infosys. If you want to buy in the market, how much it will be, you calculate. Huge amount. So don't get worried about market value. Here we are talking about nominal value or face value. Okay. Remember that. As you keep on putting all your questions in the chat box, after I finish this slide, I will take up that question. Person to be appointed as auditor, relative or partner, should not be indebted. Indebted means should not have borrowed, should not owe, O-W-E, owe. Owe. You should not be owing. Should not owe more than 5 lakhs. More than 5, up to 5 lakhs, okay. More than 5 lakhs. I'm sorry. He should not owe more than, greater than 5 lakhs. Okay. This is applicable to all, no exception. No exception for relative or here. Whereas for relative alone, There is an exception for security, only for relative, not even for partner. Definitely not for that person, which means if Mr. A is to be appointed as auditor, if he is holding even one share in that company, he is disqualified. But his wife or other relative may hold up to 1 lakh face value. Okay, sir? This is a kind of relief given to auditors. You see, it so happened I was auditor of a company wherein at that time the condition was not there. There was no such condition. I'm talking about 1993, 92, 93, when the company was formed, the promoter was there. It so happened, I said, Srikanth, why don't you invest? And so happened, I had some surplus fund. I put about 1.5 lakhs. I bought shares at a premium of 5 rupees. I bought 15 rupees shares. Okay, 15 rupees. I bought 10,000, I think, whatever, 1,50,000 rupees what share I bought. And I gave the money to them. And then later on, this rule came. And at the time of that, as usual, the company said, your own shares. That's so what, yeah. Because that time, relative was not covered at all. That time, relative was not covered at all in the disqualification. They only said auditor should not hold. So immediately I transferred it to my wife. She was held till the company went for second level, I think, funding. At this time, the promoters offloaded shares. So at that time, they also told us who had come in at the early stage, more like an angel investors. They said, hey, here's a good premium for you, take it. Which means that 15 rupee share was sold by my wife at 150 rupees. It was fairly good price. So we sold it and took the money and whatever, take the cash and waive the rest, said Omar Khayyam. Umar Khayyam, the famous Persian saint, Sufi saint and poet who wrote a Rubaiyat, said, take the cash and waive the rest. Okay, so we took the cash and waived the rest. So went on. But indebtedness applicable to all. Up to 5 lakhs. So they've naturally given you 5 lakh limit. Beyond 5 lakhs, if you're going, sorry, auditor is disqualified. Also, instead of directly borrowing money, what that auditor or relative or partner may do is, somebody may be given a loan by the company. Somebody may be given a loan by the company, XYZ, who is possibly related to this auditor or the. Now the auditor or relative or partner may be giving a guarantee. So the auditor should not have provided any guarantee or security on behalf of any third person. Here again in excess of 1 lakh. So 1 lakh. No guarantee. No guarantee, etc. above 1 lakh. So these three conditions are there, which are very important. Okay, that's the point. I think my internet is not good, otherwise so many people. Oh, Muskan Sharma. It's okay. Name, actually, madam, the word security is defined thing, but so the word used is security in the section. One, I do say only shares or all, etc., etc. I will take a rain check on this, check the section, and I'll get back. I'll check the section, I'll get back. As of now, take it that shares are covered. Equity shares are covered. Equity shares are covered. Shares are definitely covered. Only shares, I don't know, sir. Shares are definitely covered. Equity shares, 100% covered. Okay. Mr. Sridhar Gopal Rao Vankade, that Hindi is going to be a last session. I cannot speak Hindi. Okay, so you will have to understand me in English. Indirectly controlled, allowed or not, if you are, what is your question? I'm unable to understand. Basically, this is not about control. This is about auditor not having any share in the company. It is not about control. Forget control. Control comes with more than 51%, that 20% and all. This is about having even one share. Since you're Hindi, I'm using one Hindi word. Okay. Friend, I'm not familiar with Hindi. Don't mistake me. Okay. So I will speak in English. Try your best to understand. I'm getting so many mails from people in Uttar Pradesh. One girl in Ayodhya is my student and all. They were all happily following my lectures in English. They cleared the exam, and today I'm getting so many mails from north of India saying I cleared the exam, sir. I thank you for the lectures and all. I'm so proud and happy that South Indian can even reach the beyond the Vindhyas is impossible in this country. That they gave this opportunity for me, and that too a man cannot speak Hindi was able to do. That also shows that one more thing, the language applicable for this subject, if you are writing it, is in English. So I suggest that let's sort of not insist on Hindi. This is the only time I will make this request. Again, I will not make this request. Please do not ask me to explain in Hindi. I will explain in Asan English. I will not give one more excuse for speaking in English or one more excuse for my inability to speak Hindi. I don't have to give any excuse or apology for not being able to speak in Hindi. I am unable to speak, but I can speak in English. Humbly requesting you to try to understand what I am saying. Okay. This is the last time I will ever make this humble comment to any of you. Okay. Now coming to the point, there is no about control. This section is about auditor not holding even one share. For relative, it's not an indirect control. It is an exception given. Thus, you might want shares. Yeah, how to hold it? At least up to 1 lakh face value, you can hold it through relative. That is one thing. Another possibility is there. See, you might become the auditor of that company. Your brother might be there. How can you control him? That's a relative. But he might buy. But if he is buying more than, you can say, boss, don't buy more than 1 lakh. So up to 1 lakh, they have given a natural exemption for holding security. But for loan and guarantee, no exemption for relative. Any one of these three people, if they are indebted for an amount in excess of 5 lakh, auditor disqualified. If the guarantee is given for more than 1 lakh by any one of them, all the three, person, relative, partner, then disqualified. The auditor is disqualified. This is the thing. Huh? So first point already prohibits there is holding. No. For they first said, see, that is why in every law there will be something called proviso. So the first they say nobody can hold it. Then say provided that a relative can hold up to 1 lakh. Okay. So 1 lakh per relative. Okay. 1 lakh per relative. Okay. 1 lakh shares can buy. How much can buy? Is there any rule for buy? Nothing. Up to 1 lakh you can buy. Above 1 lakh you cannot. Face value. Face value up to 1 lakh face value. You can buy 10,000 shares. The face value is 1 rupee. You can buy 1 lakh shares. Face value. Can you understand that, Mr. Aditya? Face value. So 1 lakh is the amount given. Then the 1 lakh shares. If you take 1 lakh as the amount, not 1 lakh shares. Hello, brother. I gave the example of Infosys. Infosys share face value is 1 rupee. You can check out. Face value of 1 share of Infosys is 1 rupee. Such a company, if you are buying 1 lakh shares, it will 1 rupee into 1 lakh. Now 1 lakh. 1 lakh shares you can buy. But suppose you are having a company where the face value is 100 rupees, then you can hold, the relative can hold only 1,000 shares. You can buy. I hope this is clear. Yeah. I gave an example of a company like Infosys where the face value of that company share is 1 rupee. Then you can buy up to 1 lakh shares, irrespective of what is the market value that you are investing in. My best close friend is auditor. Excellent. We thank you for that information. But are you extending it to any question? Is there a question there? Because I can give a question. See, the Companies Act defines the word relative, but it does not define the word friend. So, if your close friend is an auditor, he can, on his behalf, you can hold the shares or whoever. Okay. So if you are going to become the auditor, you can have a close friend. But be careful, these close friends can be very dangerous. Okay. Anyway, there's a bigger topic in life. who is a friend, who is not a friend. When that friend will be a friend, when that friend will not be a friend. Anyway, I will give my life for you, a friend will tell. These friendships and all, I have seen enough in my life, 60 years. Today, the whole world is my friend. I don't have one single friend. And I have other friends. When the Lord is with me, I don't need any other friend. Okay, no friend is needed. He is with me. And because of that, everybody is my friend. I have no enemies in my life. Only friends I have not met before. But no close friend whom I will say he is my close friend. Nobody. Nobody is my close friend. Okay. Coming to this is the broader point. See, you'll also realize that as you become a member of the institute, that too in the certifying, auditing side of the institute, even those in service are highly philosophical. Member of our institute will be highly philosophical and highly, it's not religious, they'll be more spiritual, but highly philosophical, highly philosophical. So that being the case, slowly, you'll realize what is life. Because in your career, each one of you will be handling millions and billions of dollars and rupees. For you, money will become just a throughput for you. You will lose the respect for that. Not that you will not respect money, but you will lose respect for large numbers and all. You will not be worried about it because you're handling it as a matter of routine on a daily basis. Some of you would be controlling assets worth billions of rupees. Some of you are controlling companies which are worth enterprise values of hundreds and hundreds of thousands of crores. So those, slowly you'll become philosophical and say, "Kya hai bhai?" Like that. So, okay, going on. In the event of acquiring any security or interest by a relative, above the threshold prescribed, the corrective action to maintain the limits as specified above shall be taken by the auditor within 60 days of such acquisition or interest. What does this mean? Asan English, I'll explain. See, I am the auditor. Okay. Mr. A is the auditor. At that time, no relative is holding shares. He is also not holding shares. Now, suddenly, Mr. A's sister acquires shares in the company more than 1 lakh face value. Suddenly, she takes a decision. Maybe they don't have any understanding. So she buys. Now, overnight, that auditor cannot lose his office. They are giving a grace period of 60 days. Within that 60 days, he can go to the sister, beg her to transfer those shares to her husband. Why I am telling husband? Can anybody guess why? See, sister has acquired. He can tell within 60 days, he can go to her and say, Benji, please don't do this to me. I am the auditor, you know that. Yeah, what do you want me to do? So why don't you transfer it to your husband? Okay, like that. So that Jaju, if you transfer, at least he will be able to. Now, what will happen when it goes to the brother-in-law? Anybody? Let's see how much you are able to react to this question. It is a genuine question. Example. More than 1 lakh face value. 60 days grace period. At that point, he is not disqualified. Only expiry of 60 days, A will get disqualified. A goes to his sister and says, please ask to transfer it to. Don't say blood relative, madam. Please, this blood relative. Please don't use. Of course, some sections use blood relative. And regulation, I have read blood relative. But in Companies Act, we don't use the word blood relative. Okay, we are not vampires. We don't want blood. Correct. Pitaji, you are correct. Okay, not born in the same family and all, you leave it, madam. See, okay, Dhanalakshmi, madam, wife is relative or not? Is he or she born in the same family? So don't tell like that. The correct answer is given by Sushmita ji, who's saying brother-in-law is not covered under the definition of relative. Absolutely correct. That is the correct answer. Isha also is giving correct. Only sister is under the Companies Act. Under only sister is a relative. You can check out the definition of relative under the Companies Act. Please try to be thorough with the definition of relative, because if it's simple, actually now section, I think, what is that? 4A, wow, some, forget that section. I'm sure all of you are authority on company law. So which schedule is that? Yeah, she can. Why not? Non-relative, she can. Why not? But this is even easier. Her own husband is not a relative. For her, he is a relative. But for her brother, that is the auditor A, she is not a relative. The brother-in-law is not a relative. So why go for beneficial owner and all? Her own husband is there. She can simply transfer the shares to her husband, who can hold it. Obviously, and A will also not lose his office as an auditor. Okay, why? Because under the definition of relative, you will find they are giving a relative. See, even that also here. Members of undivided family, husband and wife are relative. Are they blood related? They will take the blood. That much I will assure you. Wife will take the blood. But she is not a blood. I don't know if she is a blood relative, but she will definitely take the blood. That is always possible. Okay, humorously told. Don't take me otherwise. And this rule 4. Father, mother. I don't have a brother. I have 2 sisters. One father, one mother. Okay. One son, one daughter. Having husband. Now son is going to get his wife in October. Son's wife also will come. So my rule 4 will be complete. All the relatives, except no brothers. Okay, except my Masonic brothers who have more than 25,000 brethren across the country, but not blood brother. Okay. So anyway, coming to the point, sister's husband is not a relative. Brother's wife is not a relative. Relief that I got in my life was Companies Act. Okay, I called my, even my wife's father is not a relative. Wife's mother is not. All in-laws are outclass. Okay, all the in-laws are outclass. So I called my father-in-law after I got married. It's some issues with my father-in-law. I called him and I showed him then Schedule 1A. It's a government document. He said, yes, what is that? This is the list of relatives. Yeah, father-in-law. He said, you are not relative anymore. Go like that. So why I'm saying father-in-law, all the in-laws are outclass. So that way, see why I'm telling this. No, here aware of relative definition also. My humble submission to you. Don't mistake me for the way I'm telling this, but think. And okay, 1 second. Parents, children, spouse. Beautifully said. Parents, children, children-in-law, spouse. Add that also. Parents. Parents, siblings, children, spouse. No, you don't say spouse. No, don't confuse me. Don't confuse. Parents, siblings, children, children-in-law. That's all. Guardian of auditor. Sir. "21 years. If you remember right, membership, you have to come 21. I became a member when I was 21 years old. I completed 21 in January 87. I became a member of the institute in July 87. My membership begins in July 87. 27 July, I will complete 40 years. Both, I took my COP from day one. Till date, I'm holding my COP. Different under direct tax. Totally different. Madam, 56.1, 56.2, section 56. Definition of relatives that's wider, covers more. Company law, restrictive. Under the Income Tax Act, more. Okay. FEMA also have. In FEMA, some of the regulations talk about blood relative also. There they use the word blood relative. For loans, when you're giving a loan, when you're receiving a loan, for some exceptions purpose, they're saying any loan received from a blood relative like that. I don't know what that blood relative is. Whereas relative under the Companies Act, I know. Nah, let her do it, ma. I'm not saying she cannot do it. Let her do it. Let her invest through beneficial owners. No problem. She can. Then there is some procedure under the rules. It has to be disclosed and all that. Seriously, it's a gray area, Anil. Area. Better not take a risk, na? Better not take a risk. Better not do that. Better you either do like this, go through a person who is not relative under the act, or the relative holds only less than 1 lakh and maintains the auditors. Don't do all that. Beneficial and all that. I don't know about it. Under the law, there is no clarity. The FC was the beneficial owner. They don't say beneficial owner. Hold. So whether through themselves or through benefit. So the MCA may take a very, very restrictive view. This is not the place to take risk and argument. Okay? My humble suggestion. Okay. To answer your question directly, no. If she holds through beneficial, there is no direct prohibition, but it might be taken as holding, indirect holding. Okay. So don't do that. Another disqualification is a person or a firm who, whether directly or indirectly, has business relationship with the company or its subsidiary or its holding or associate company. This part of it, you need not worry. Easy. Company, subsidiary, holding, associate, subsidiary of such holding. This is this diagram. Am I correct? Easy. So whenever you see these wordings, just laugh because you know what it is. Okay. Here, one exception is that, do you notice that? Here, the associate company ka subsidiary is not covered. Here, associate company ka subsidiary is not covered. Whereas here, associate company ka subsidiary is also covered. Relationship. Now, just come here. What is business relationship? Okay. Any transaction entered into for a commercial purpose. So, see, this again is to ensure independence now. Okay, independence. So that the auditor should not have any business relationship. Okay. But two exceptions are carved out. First, commercial transactions which are in the nature of professional services permitted to be rendered by an auditor or audit firm. Later on, in a very short while, we will see 154, which will talk about certain services that an auditing firm or an auditor is not supposed to provide, prohibited. Other than that, the auditor can provide other services to the company. For example, he can be a GST auditor, he can be the tax auditor, okay, and so on and so forth. So, certain services, tax advisor, certain services he cannot. So, those services which an auditor is permitted to render by the Companies Act, so those services are not covered under business relationship. So, I might get fees from the company by way of audit fees and also by way of fees for other professional services. I might be giving certificates allowed. So, all allowed. I can do that. So, I may say for certification, I'll charge extra. That will be separate. Tax audit, extra, we can take it. GST audit, in those days, it was there, now it is not there. Okay, that we can take. Representation before income tax authorities, yes. Representation before GST authorities, yes. Advice on FEMA, yes. Can do. Why not? If you have what you cannot do, we will see. Okay. Then one more category is carved out as an exception, which is commercial transactions, which are in the ordinary course of business of the company at arm's length price. Arm's length. See, here there is a big problem. They have given a wide definition. Commercial transactions in the ordinary course of business of the company at arm's length price. Then what they are telling, like sale of goods, products or services to the auditor as customer in the ordinary course of business. See, the word used is like. Like means they are giving example. But here in that example, what they have done, companies engaged in the business of telecommunication, airline, hotel, and such other similar businesses. So this is where the confusion starts. Our friends who drafted this 2013 law, this is how they create confusion. See, my question is different. I really don't know even now. They are using the word commercial transactions wide. So long as it is in the ordinary course of business, arm's length price. See, but then while giving a course of business, then they restrict the companies to those companies which are engaged in services only. You don't see any product here. Telecom, airline, hospital, hotel, all are service. So what is the intention? Now, my humble submission to you is, though the example given is for services, is still the original definition is wide enough and the word product is used here. Therefore, any transaction, any commercial transaction in the ordinary course of business, arm's length. Please note arm's length. What is an arm's length transaction? When you come to final 188, this is very important. Related party transactions which are at arm's length are exempted from the operation 188 itself. Arm's length. Okay. Now, so that being the case, what is an arm's length transaction? A transaction wherein the terms and conditions are no different from that of an informed buyer in a absolutely unconnected, unrelated buying based on an informed decision. So the price at which I am selling to an unconnected, unrelated person, the same price I'm charging also. I'm charging the same price that I would charge to anybody. Then there is no problem. You want to buy that car. You like the car. You want to buy it. You can. So you go to the shop. Because you are the auditor, they will receive you, give you a cup of tea and take you around and show you the car, etc., etc. Now, suppose he is giving you a price with a discount. Let us say that that company is giving a general discount of 20% on that model to all or certain offers which are available to Srikanth. Just walks in, he will get it, you will get it. Then Aam Aadmi like me can walk. Then it is in the ordinary course of business, arm's length price. No problem. Suppose because you are the auditor, you are getting 50% discount. Sorry, that is a disqualification. That amounts to business relationship. Okay. So you have to be very, very careful that you should not receive be available to you. Then it is not arm's length price. Okay. It is influenced price. So be very, very careful. Which is why day one of starting practice, I have never had any transaction with my clients. Okay. Nothing. Recently, we got a new audit where they are manufacturing pre-packaged tamarind branding. They are corporatized and to go for public issue and all. So they appointed our firm as auditor. But then I went there, the gentleman gave me sample tamarind. Sample. I was not auditor at that time. I got the tamarind home. Then I said, okay. Then we became auditor. So I called the MD and I will send straight away 5 kilos to your house. He said, no. You send me 5 kilos, but send a bill. Same bill that you would send to anybody. If your customer buys from me, sir, wholesale price I'll put. No, I am a retail customer. Send me a retail bill. What? Sir, I generally give a small discount of 10%. Shall I give? Okay. If that is a discount that you give to me also. So if this view is taken, we have no problem at all. But if you take advantage, I'm giving example of tamarind. Even small thing like tamarind, car, 24 lakh car, whatever it is. So long as you don't take any benefit, that is no problem. Just I want to explain it to you a little more detail. No. A person whose relative is a director or is in the employment of the company as a director or key managerial personnel. A person who's director or KMP. So the auditor's relative is a key managerial person. Auditor disqualified. KMP definition, you know, directors, secretary, CFO, these are all key managerial personnel. So if they are a key managerial personnel, please note that relative of the director should not be a KMP only. Employment of the company, please continue to read it. Don't stop here. Employment of the company, no. Employment of the company as a director or key managerial person. So we are talking here about whole-time directors who are in the employment of the company and key managerial personnel like CFO, CEO, company secretary, etc. Normal employee who is not a director or KMP, not covered in this disqualification. So the auditor's wife could be a clerk, no problem. Could be even marketing executive, so long as she or he is not a, I mean, wife means she only, I hope. She is not a director or a KMP. You got it? A person who is in full-time employment elsewhere. So now they have exempted. No, now they have disqualified. They said a person who is in full employment elsewhere cannot be an auditor of a company. Also, they have given a limit. They have given a limit on the number of audits that an individual can handle or a partner can handle. The limit per partner or if it's a proprietor, that proprietor cannot have an auditor as on the date of his appointment. If he is already an auditor in 20, then he cannot be appointed here. Okay. So a person or firm, if such partner see, on that date, it will become 21. He cannot be in more than 20 because 20 is the limit. But for calculating this 20 companies, certain type of private companies are excluded. All private companies are not excluded. Ladies and gentlemen, your honors, please note it. All private companies are not exempted. Certain type of private companies are excluded. Which are they? One-person company. So while counting 20, OP, all company remove. Private companies having paid up share capital less than 100 crore rupees. So that will clear much of the companies. See, in fact, my practice 600 files, about easily 200 are corporate. Now we are having 8 partners. Luckily for us, many of these are below this limit, so that they are not covered in this 20. So only those which are covered, we should. So 8 partners into 20 per partner, you have 160 companies only we can do. Okay, so we have to go for well within the limit we have. Companies that are covered by this. I'm giving my own example to help you understand. Don't mistake me. Okay, so that the idea is to give you my own example, easy to understand. So this is exception, 20 companies per partner. So if a firm has 3 partners, 3 into 20, 60. But that is 60 doesn't mean that A, B, C. Can do 10. Not like that. 60 means A can do 20, B can do 20, C can do 20. Okay, A quota over, then A cannot sign, only B has to sign. B quota over, B cannot sign, only C has to sign. Okay, that is how we have to understand it. Now, a person who has been convicted by a court of an offense involving fraud and a period of 10 years has not elapsed from the date of such conviction. So, I'm sorry, I don't even waste my time explaining this. If a member of our institute is so cheap as to be convicted by a court of an offense involving fraud, then period of 10 years is not sufficient to disqualify him. Minimum 10 years he cannot be an auditor of any company, because we are certifying the financial statements of other companies. We should be above reproach. In fact, there is a famous, quotation. Caesar's wife should be suspicion, and it is not enough. If it is not enough if you are honest. You should be seen to be honest. Okay, so these are fundamental issues. No compromise. No tricky arguments can get you out of fraud. So fraud is a fraud is a fraud. Okay, tricky arguments, moral, truisms, and to wriggle out of it by giving, excuses, or blaming circumstances or blaming society. Everybody has a choice. I have a choice. I can either do something or not do something. If I don't do it, I have to forego certain benefits. If I'm willing to forego the benefit, I can be independent. I can be free. It is only for those benefits that we sacrifice our immortal soul and we become criminals. So I think that you have to take that choice. More so when you are a member of our institute, you have to constantly take that choice on a continuous basis. You cannot get from it by blaming society, blaming circumstances and all that. A person who directly or indirectly renders any service referred to in section 144. So 144 section will give you list of services which are prohibited. Right, sir? So if you are rendering those services, then you are disqualified from being appointed as an auditor. If you are not rendering and then you start rendering, you will become disqualified. Immediately you will have to vacate your office. Only one area where the disqualification will not take place immediately is when the relative is holding any security, acquiring security. In those cases alone, you are getting 60 days to take action. Other than that, if any of these disqualifications is acquired, the day it is acquired, that person will vacate. If a person appointed as an auditor of a company incurs any of the disqualifications in 141(3), with the one exception of a relative acquiring share, everything else, he shall be deemed to have vacated his office. Fourth, immediately, such vacation shall be deemed to be a casual vacancy in the office of the director. Casual vacancy means a vacancy which is occurring in the normal course, and that casual vacancy, we'll come to about casual vacancy, you will understand, because a casual vacancy can be filled by the board, with one exception, which is the resignation. Other than that, casual vacancy. Okay. One exception is resignation. Where the auditor resigns, board cannot. They have to get information from the members. More about it when we come to resignation, etc. Now we are going to get into some questions and all that. Exam point of view. Yeah, see, these PowerPoint presentations are uploaded in the Institute Board of Studies portal. Kindly go on. Up to now, what I have taken will be uploaded. This PowerPoint. Okay, Tuesday, maximum Tuesday, I will upload it. Okay, so it will be uploaded in the Board of Studies portal. Debtors and creditors are not allowed. Sir, business relationship, debtors and creditors. See, if you become a debtor, it's a business. I think you're not able to understand the topic, I think. See, you are not supposed to enter into business relationships, sir. Forget debtor. See, debtor creditor means credit transaction. That means that you are in deeper shit because you may also be covered in indebtedness. Suppose it's a credit purchase or something, yeah. But if you are asking another question, I will definitely be interested in answering. That is, both buying and selling. But be careful, a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, if he is in full-time practice with me, we are not allowed to do business. So, other than professional services, I cannot sell anything to the company. So I cannot be a creditor except as a service provider. The minute I say I'm selling you iron and steel and all, I am not fit. I will be disqualified from practice itself. Full-time practice itself will be disqualified. There is, all of us can become, so many things we can do now, sir. The minute we take up our COP, it is almost like sannyas. Thereafter, I cannot do anything else. Only practice, nothing else. Full-time practice means nothing else. I cannot do anything, no business, nothing. I have to be only member of our institute signing. It is like complete, total dedication to practice. I cannot do anything else. So logically, I cannot be a creditor. I can be a debtor, but if I am a debtor, then this 5 lakh limit will apply. I cannot be indebted for more than 5 lakhs. Even my relative cannot be indebted for more than 5 lakhs. Okay, so your question actually is a good question, but it needs a little more awareness and understanding of the subject. That's all. And of course, if you're able to, yeah. So CA Vikas is appointed as the auditor of ABC Limited on 17/7/2018. On 15/4/2020, his brother is appointed as a non-executive director on the board of ABC Limited. Non-executive means he is not a full-time director, he is a non-whole-time director. Means he will only sit on the board and give advice. Non-executive director. So what I suggest now, while giving the answer, you say 1 and you give the answer. Then 2 and you give the answer. Okay. 2 is where Ram, brother of CA Sham, practicing chartered accountant, acquired securities of Mr. School Limited, having market value of 1,20,000, face value 95,000. State whether CA Sham is qualified to be appointed as statutory auditor of Mr. School Limited. It was asked in November 2018, but for those of you who are curious, how in November 2018 they will put 2019-20, they didn't. There it was a different date. I changed it when I prepared the slide Corona period in 2020. Thereafter, I have not updated the dates. Okay. So please give your answers. So you put 1 answer, then 2 answer, then 2 put then A answer, B answer. Let us see how many of you are answering. Face value 95,000, which is less than 1 lakh. Absolutely correct. Okay. Yeah, I think. So first answer, don't get cheated by this non-executive director. There is no distinction between non-executive and executive. Both are, if he is a director, see, again, hold on to the problem. Okay. Also, if you are missing it there, here you see, a person whose relative is a director. It doesn't say full-time director, whole-time director. Then it says, or is in the employment of the company as a director. So both part-time directors and the full-time directors and KMPs are covered. Okay. So just for that. Ram, see the simple 95,000, no disqualification. 1 lakh, no disqualification. 1,05,000 disqualified. So B, only here he will be disqualified. Only here he will be disqualified. Here allowed, here allowed. Okay. So Ram is a brother of Sham. So Ram is a relative. Okay. Yeah. So for Sham, not even 1 share is allowed. There was one question asked. Again, I'm unable to answer that because I'm not able to understand. Not a single holding of rupee holding for auditor, not a single share. Don't say rupee, single share, even if you hold 1 share. But a relative can hold up to face value 1 lakh. Okay. face value only. Not a single share. Yeah, Mr. Kambirak Narsimha. Okay, one sec. So most have got the answer correct. Wherever the limit is less than 1 lakh, no problem. 1,05,000, problem. Means disqualified. Correct. Nikun just give 2B also. No. Even if he's an independent director, his disqualification will be there. In fact, director independence also will go. It will be a disaster, a two-side disaster, where director's independence will go and the auditor also will become disqualified. Both disqualified. Both the brothers will go catching their ears. Because of you, I was affected. Because of me, you are affected. Go. Okay. Sir, independence is based on that, sir. How can that independent? Sir, simple rule, director, whatever name you call, independent director, nominee director, whole-time director, part director, whatever. Okay. So you are not right. You are asking right, sir. I'm saying not right, sir. Okay, beautiful. Now, Gayatri ji, don't say should vacate. No, don't say should vacate. Kyun? Because why should vacate? The law makes him directly straight away, it says. To now explain, I think somebody wanted to repeat this. See, the time of appointment, there is no disqualification. Subsequently, one of these disqualifications is coming to him. Then what happens? The day that disqualification happens, he shall be deemed to have vacated his office. No need for resignation and all. Nothing. He will vacate by operation of law. Once he vacates this, that's it, bye. Thereafter, within 30 days, we'll see that. When there's a casual vacancy, you have to appoint another auditor. That's all. He cannot be. So, directly vacation. Only one exception. Please, not very difficult to understand. Just concentrate. I'm explaining in Asan English. Only one exception. Where a relative is holding more than 1 lakh. If the relative has acquired more than 1 lakh, then they say 60 days grace period for you to correct. If not, on the expiry of 60 days, immediately this section will trigger. On the expiry of the 60th day, midnight, straight away he'll vacate. If nothing is done. Okay, that's all. So I think I have, to the best of my ability, I'm explaining the subject. Okay, and I hope you are able to understand it. Very important from the exam. Good question, Anilji. Can each relative hold separately? Yes. Face up to each relative. If you are having 5 wives, if you are having 5 brothers, each one can hold 1 lakh. No problem. It is not collective. It is per relative. Very good. Wonderful. Divide the holding between your relatives. Okay. See, tomorrow, if the collusive fraud, all this type of things will come out. So 5 relatives each holding 1 lakh, this will come out. Later on, if there is a collusive fraud. But legally, nothing. No problem. You are entitled, no notification. But subsequently, if there is a collusive fraud and investigation is done by Serious Fraud Investigation Office, NAFRA and all that, that's it. All this will become evidence that there was a collusion between the auditor and the management of the company. So better at all that, yeah. Don't have any shares, even relative. So nominal share, okay. Other than that, no. CA has no right to run a business. No, I didn't say that. Did I say that? Full-time practicing chartered accountant cannot be owner or partner of a business, commercial business. There again, there are some exceptions. You can write to the institute and get permission where your own family business is there and you're a partner, but there you have to get, even then, I think COP holder cannot be. Non-COP holder or part-time COP holder can get permission. Part-time, some people, they will be chartered accountants, but they will be director of their family company. There are people, they won't be holding, they may hold COP, but that COP is of no use, okay? Because part-time practice, absolutely no value in our institute. Full-time practitioner only has all opportunities. Full-time practice, you can say, I also went to the Kachari, can have one COP, that's all. But full-time practitioner, no. We cannot have any other business interest. Okay, it is good only. I have no problem with that. What happened? I have earned enough as a practitioner. I don't have to do business. If I do business, my concentration will go there. How I will update my knowledge, how I will be to date, how I can be a good professional. So if I have pride in being a practicing CA, why I will do business? Yeah, 600 businesses are taking my advice and growing. Why should I be a businessman? Okay, I am the advisor to these businesses. And they have so much confidence in me. When they call me, Srikanth sir, please come, and they take my advice. With such pride of position, why should I do Kavalam business? Yeah, that is nothing. And if that is what I want to do, I will surrender the certificate, get into business. Why I will be CEO? Why I will even practice as a CA? It's a choice. You either decide to go that, why all this? If you want to earn millions and millions, get into business. For that, why you will do CA? Why you will study hard? Anybody can become businessman. Just go. If you have the business knowledge, you go and do business. For that, you don't have to become a member of our institute. Okay. So it's a beautiful Prem ki kahani hai. Prem ki kahani hai. It's a beautiful love story. Huh? but it has a company law and handle. So don't get caught in the love story. Be clear about the answer. See, Anil was appointed as auditor of the. In fact, this is a beautiful Maniratnam movie. See, Anil is appointed as auditor. He goes to the office. He meets Neha. Neha is a company secretary. Okay, at least 2 days we can do. Then the company secretary, they fell in love with each other. Okay, no problem up to that point in time. Okay, C. Anil was appointed on 39 2019. Neha and Anil get married on 15 2020. What are the consequences of this? Vis-a-vis continuance of CA Anil as auditor. So, from the love story, we come to the reality of the world. Company secretary. Yeah, Nikunj, again, you are absolutely correct. Instead of saying he is not qualified, you can say he is disqualified or is disqualified. Marriage day will also be disqualification day. Why? Why? That you are right, Nikunji, that you are right. See, Anil, he doesn't become disqualified by marrying Neha. He becomes disqualified by marrying a KMP has become his relative. That KMP word has to come somewhere. I don't see KMP anywhere. So if I'm correcting your answer, say, yeah, he is right, but she or he is right, but they have not mentioned KMP. See, marrying Neha is a good thing, but marrying a KMP is the problem. Okay, exactly. KMP has become his relative. Therefore, he is disqualified on the day the KMP becomes his relative. Okay, of course, imagine the fight that could have. See, what a beautiful story, huh? On women's emancipation, on women's and all. What Anil will tell immediately, Neha ji, you resign. Huh? I will continue as auditor, you resign. So Neha will simply ask, why should I resign? Why? You don't be auditor like that. See, starting is problem. Okay. Yeah, beautiful. But I think you got the point of KMP. This is not asked in the exam. It's my own, concoction. But similar question could come without falling in love at all, because VCAs are all very serious people. Normally, we cannot fall in love and all. Not like that. Even if we can also fall in love, mine was a love marriage, so there is nothing wrong. We are all a human being. Okay? Just by becoming CA, you will not cease to become a human being. You are a human being. But while exercising your professional duties, you will have to be definitely 3 levels above normal people. The way you look at things would be 3 levels above normal people, from a highly ethical, highly intellectual, highly academic perspective only. We have to see the situation. We cannot be like ordinary, within quotes, people who don't have the necessary knowledge to appreciate the totality of the situation. Okay, that is why we are professionals, as against ordinary people who are not professionals. Okay. Examine whether the following quickly. This is a question asked in the exam now, 2019. Okay. Quickly. I will not wait for your answers. I will quickly run through it, and then we'll have a small break. Thereafter, we'll again start the next topic. Mr. Prakash is a practicing CA. Akash is a relative. See, they will coolly say relative. Is holding securities of ABC Limited having face value of 70,000, market value back 10. Straight away, no disqualification. No disqualification, right? No disqualification. Because less than 1 lakh, straight away. Just write 1 or 2 lines is enough, ma, because 6 marks. Each one of these questions gets 2 marks. So for 2 marks, you write 3 lines. One, Mr. Prakash, brother of relative of Mr. Akash, is holding securities worth face value worth rupees 70,000, which is less than 1 rupees 1 lakh. There, Mr. Akash is not disqualified. Or Mr. Akash is eligible for being appointed as auditor. Ramesh, practicing CA, indebted to MNP Limited for 6 lakhs. Directly, the auditor is indebted. Okay. So, since Mr. Ramesh is indebted to MNP Limited for 6 lakhs, which is more in excess of 5 lakhs, he is not qualified or he is not eligible for being appointed as auditor of in MNP Limited. Mrs. KVJ, spouse of Mr. Kumari, a chartered accountant, is the storekeeper of PRC Limited. Now I want you to answer me. 3. I want you to answer only 3. Just to answer 3. I want your answer for 3. 1 and 2, no problem. 3. I want your answers for 3. Sushmita ji, I think you are written not correct. Correct. Not correct. Absolutely correct. Sushmita ji, you are absolutely correct. See, KVJ, Mrs. KVJ is not a KMP. Therefore, Mr. Kumar is disqualified. It applies only to people who are employees, who are directors or key managerial personnel. Okay, so Madam Gayatri ji, note what I'm saying. Merely being an employee, not a problem. See, employee cannot be an auditor, but auditor's relative can be an employee, no problem. Are you able to understand? Employee cannot be an auditor. Okay, but auditor can be a relative of an employee, but auditor's relative cannot be KMP or director. Okay. Absolutely. Wonderful, wonderful. In fact, yes, he is absolutely qualified. In the institute material, I saw one nice question. Check it out. It's a very interesting question. It's just a small catch. If they ask in the exam, it's going to 2 marks, it's going to be easy. See, there, all along you are used to cases where relative is holding. Now, there they are saying the auditor is holding. Be careful. Auditor, no limit. Even 1 share gone, disqualified. Be careful. Here, 1 lakh, 1 lakh, 1 lakh. No, that 1 lakh is not available to auditor. Auditor cannot even 1 share. Please, yaad rakh dijiye, please. These are the services that cannot be rendered by a auditor. Means, if you are the auditor of the company, you cannot render these services. If you are a firm, okay, then that partner of that firm or like that cannot directly or indirectly, that firm cannot render these services. See, you might ask me, is there a background? There is a background for this. Why this 144 was introduced in the Companies Act? Before Satyam. This 144 has its genesis in an international event that happened before Satyam. If anybody can put up what that event was in the query pad, a chat box, I'll be more than happy. The time now is 7:30. Let us all break 10 minutes, and then we will come back for further discussions on appointment, etc. of auditors. In the meantime, think. For example, accounting services, internal audit, designing and implementation, management services, consulting, all that you cannot do. The firm which does the audit cannot do. Directly or indirectly, you're going to see a lot of people who cannot do it. This 144 has its genesis, or it was triggered by an international event. In the meantime, have a break for 10 minutes. Sir, break for 10 minutes, sir. not break, sir. Okay. My God, I was expecting, yeah, welcome back from your well-deserved break. I was expecting some answer to my question and not got any question. Yeah, Dhanalakshmi, again, you are confusing with Satyam. This is nothing to do with Satyam. Of course, Satyam had repercussions to discover fraud. All that were Satyam impacts. All that was Satyam impact. Reopening of accounts, we saw no accounts. That is Satyam impact. All that is Satyam impact. Here you will find a lot of Satyam impact is there. But this is not Satyam. It is something. Sushmita, as usual, gets it right. Madam, great. Enron, she puts only one single word there. Enron. Okay, Enron. Yeah, it is based on Enron. Enron was a consulting energy company. They were into energy construction, construction, project consulting, and all that. Big company, huge company in the US, Enron. Their auditors were a firm of international firm called Arthur Andersen. Now you might be surprised that there is no such firm called Arthur Andersen because thanks to Enron, Arthur Andersen got destroyed, literally blown to pieces. That one Enron scam, as it was called, took this company, took this international firm. At that time when Arthur Andersen was active, they were called Big Eight. Big Eight. Then Arthur Andersen blew, and there were only 7. And then I think Touche Ross and Deloitte merged, making it Big Six as we know it now. Yeah, Big Six. Then I think Pete Marvick Mitchell also merged, KPMG. And then of course, the famous final merger of Coopers and Lybrand with Pricewaterhouse, making it Big Four as we know them now. Okay, so Big 8 to Big Four was a journey. In that, the first major demolition was the Arthur Andersen. Why Arthur Andersen got demolished? Because they were the auditors of Enron. Now, Arthur Andersen also had Andersen Consulting division was there. So the firm had an auditing division and a consulting division. The consulting division employed engineers. Can you imagine? In fact, a peculiar situation where the firm was controlled by only chartered accountants, CPAs, members, CPA, not our members, CPA. But these CPAs were earning a lion's share of the income of the consulting division, which was run by a few partners, but mainly by engineers. That was again a skewing. It was like a small, an elephant was being controlled by a small rat. It was like that. The Andersen Consulting, which is why that was itself a problem, which meant Andersen Consulting was giving more income than the firm Arthur Andersen. So, which was all part and parcel. Now, at the time, there was no such prohibition. So, on the one hand, Andersen Consulting is giving consulting solution to Enron. On the other hand, Arthur Andersen is auditing Enron. Now, tell me, is there not a huge independence problem here? Because the partners of Arthur Andersen are under heavy pressure to agree to what the management of Enron is telling. Why? Because if they refuse to adjust, if they refuse to give false figures of profit to Enron, which is similar to Satyam scam. See, that way Enron and Satyam have similarities. Both the companies were falsifying profits or showing wrong results to the public. That was a common theme there. But in the case of Arthur Andersen, the greater problem was, unlike Pricewaterhouse didn't have that problem. It was a single partner whose greed was the problem there. Whereas in Arthur Andersen, it was a collective issue there. The partners of Arthur Andersen were under heavy pressure to oblige Enron. Therefore, they did all sorts of nonsense. You read that Enron scam, there are many books on Enron. Unlike Satyam, which is not so well documented in terms of books or anything, Enron is well documented. And one partner has written, one independent press journalist has written about what happened and how the partners of Enron, literally, they destroyed audit working papers, they destroyed tapes and all that to, sort of correct it and then did all that. So that one fine morning when the Enron scam came out, that firm Arthur Andersen overnight lost its clients. Whatever remaining were there was salvaged and taken by EY, and that's the end of story. Arthur Andersen gone. The consulting division, which was a huge asset, was sort of hived off, and it became what you now know as Accenture. What you now know as Accenture was the original consulting division of Arthur Andersen. The Andersen, that is Accenture, Andersen Consulting, came Accenture, okay, which is well kept secret, but I have not told you. Okay, now the point here is in the same way that your Axis Bank was originally UTA. The Axis Bank, which you know now, was originally UTA Bank. Okay, again a well kept secret because of change of name. That the UTA problem was there in 90s. That problem they wanted to. The people were associating UTA with the bank. So therefore, they changed the name to Axis Bank to disconnect from UTA. Now, coming to the point, so because of Enron, what happened in America, two senators, Sarbanes and Oxley, Sarbanes, S-A-R-B-A-N-N-E, Sarbanes and Oxley, they proposed a bill in Parliament, Senate of the US where they said auditors should be totally independent. Now, also they said directors should be independent. The repercussion of Sarbanes-Oxley came initially in the form of Clause 49 of the listing agreement. Okay, in Kumaramangalam Birla Commission went in immediately after Sarbanes-Oxley, SOX. And so SOX and Kumaramangalam Birla Commission became almost synonymous. And so the same recommendations were given in India in the Kumaramangalam Birla Commission, which resulted in Clause 49 of the listing agreement to be included, by which we only certify, incidentally, auditors only certify that whether the independents are the independent directors or the under. Of course, that was all there. In the meantime, Satyam came. And then, of course, the new law came. So when the new law came, they introduced 144. And they said, look here, if you are an auditing firm or an auditor, you cannot also give these services, accounting and bookkeeping, internal audit. Anyway, when you saw internal audit, you remember the statutory auditor cannot be the internal auditor. Here also prohibited service. Design and implementation of any financial information system. If you are the auditing firm, you cannot also be helping them with ERP implementation, SAP implementation. No. Similarly, you cannot render actuarial services. You may have a partner who is having the qualifications, but you cannot do it within the firm. You cannot do it. Investment advisory services, worst thing. So imagine the same auditor who is giving tax advice, can he also be an investment advisor? See how much human beings, temptation will be there to give wrong tax advice to push them to investment where he will get commission. It's not fair. Investment banking services, not possible. Rendering outsourced financial services, back processing, management services. This is the biggest culprit because consulting is where everybody and their brother-in-law today, if you ask them what they are doing, Mr. Srikanth, I am not in practice anymore. I am now in consulting. Okay, what is that consulting? I don't know. Because some businessmen, I address a lot of entrepreneurs across Tamil Nadu. Every month they address easily 2 or 3 forums, so 2 or 3 chairs. And when I ask them, why are you taking consulting? Because you have to run your own business. If you need advice in taxation, we can get and ask him how to improve my business. Sorry, I think somewhere there's a problem there. You design a strategy for improving your business. Then you come to a finance professional, you come to a HR guy. We will tell you how to implement your strategy. But what that strategy should be itself, if you're going to go to some XYZ, then what are you doing here? It's a different, bigger question they have. Okay. So any other kind of services that may be prescribed, no such services have been prescribed as of today. Okay, sir. So they are saying not only can this be done by an individual, it cannot be done by the individual, relatives of the individual, other person connected or associated with such individual, entity in which such individual has significant influence or control. This is where an entity in which such individual is having more than 20%. Entity whose name or trademark or brand is used by such individual. Be very, very careful. Today we are talking about networking, where the common brand may be there. Then if within that common, under that brand, one audit firm is there, one consulting division is there. Sorry, if consulting division is going to use the same brand, whatever it is, okay, DBC, DBF, whatever, that small, alphabetization of your name, if that's going to happen, for example, my firm is Karpagam, Krishnan and Nadarajan. So it's called Karpagam, Krishnan and Nadarajan, Chartered Accountants. So we can say KKN. So no KKN brand. So KKN, the firm will be there, KKN Consulting Services. No, sorry, if you're using the same brand, then sorry, you cannot be the auditor. You want to use your own consulting division, KKN Consulting, go ahead and give consulting. But you cannot be the statutory auditor. If you want to be the statutory auditor, no consulting. No, in fact, I do not have a KKN Consulting division. I have a different company where I do consulting, but that has nothing to do. If a client comes to us for consulting, we tell them very clearly, we will only give consulting solution. We will not take up any other work. Even if they later approach us and say, please also undertake our audit, we say, sorry, you have a choice. Either we will be your consultant or I'll be your auditor. You choose. Whichever you want, I'll be. It's up to you. Okay. So this clarity is there, then no problem. Similarly, in the case of a firm cannot do directly. Partners of firm cannot do. Parent firm cannot do. Subsidiary firm. See, there may be a firm with 15 partners. Now that parent firm may have a smaller firm called subsidiary firm with 8 partners. That 8-partner firm will have another subsidiary firm which will have 4 partners. Whatever it is, none of these firms can do. You check out many of the multinational firms, though they may have a single name, you will find that they have multiple firms. This is how initially they escaped Satyam. You just go and read that part of, you read the newspaper articles at that time, how the same firm had 3 firms in the same name. And on consulting division also, we didn't do, this audit was done by this firm, so that the main firm sort of pulled itself out of the fire and ran away and said, we are not responsible, somebody else. But though the brand name was used, okay, at that time, this section was not there. Okay, no such prohibition was there. Right. Associate entity of firm, entity in which the firm has significant influence, entity in which any partner of the firm has significant influence or control, entity whose name or trademark or brand is used by the firm or any of its partners. Associate entity means even a private limited company. So suppose the firm has a consulting division, a private limited company is an associate entity. Okay. Of course, associate entity would need common partners being directors there, all that. Okay. But be very, very careful. In this indirectness, nowhere for a firm, nowhere it says relative of a partner. Just take it out, your honors. Nowhere it says relative of a partner. Here, for individual, relative is covered. For a firm, relative of a partner is not covered. So, for your information. Okay. So, just keep in mind, relative of a partner is not covered. Company in which relative is a director is not covered. Firm which relative is a partner is not covered. Okay. Just for your information. And so long as they don't use the same trademark, absolutely no problem. Okay. This is an opinion I once gave to another group. I said, this transaction is not covered by 144. Beautiful. So we have come to a substantial coverage thanks to your support and, so let's move on with the appointment of auditors. It's very, very important. We have seen qualification. We have seen disqualifications. Now we are going to see appointment and disappointment. Sorry, not disappointment. Appointment of auditors. So the topic of appointment of auditors can be viewed from 2 angles. One, first auditor, and then subsequent auditor. First auditor, subsequent auditor. First auditor, okay, again, for a government company, other than government company. So 139.7, 139.6. So friends, I have jumped sections. I covered 141 disqualifications. Then I jumped to 144. Then I've come to 139, the first section, beginning section. From now on, we'll try to go in. So if you are having a doubt, you have to audit me. Take out and list all the sections and tick. Chalo. Don't worry. By the 3rd session, inshallah, I will cover all the sections. Don't worry. Okay. Right. Coming to the point. So the first audit of a government company, how he or she is appointed. Now the question is, what is a government company? If you are familiar with the definition, I'm happy. If you are not, for the sake of, sort of reviving your memory, let us look at it. Any company in which not less than 51% of the paid up capital is held by. So directly they should hold 51% of the paid up capital is held by central government, any state government or governments, part by central government, partly by one or more state governments. So pura central government, okay, partly pura state government, either government or more than one governments. Lastly, partly by CG and partly by one or more SGs. So in any combination, 51%, then government company. If not a government company, be careful. Of course, subsidiary of a government company is a government company. So if this company, 51% more, there the definition of holding subsidiary you can take. Subsidiary ka definition hai na, you have studied that na, not necessarily de jure. It is not necessarily only 51%. Any method of control by which a majority of the board of directors can be appointed or removed by one company, it becomes the subsidiary of the other. Okay, straight away. So whatever it is, subsidiary of government company is a government company. Okay, sir. Now, in the exam, they might ask you a question on type of question. Let's see. I think I had government company definition. It's okay. One problem was there. I'll check up if it is there. So be careful. 51% should be held by central government, state government, or combination of CG and SG, straight. Or another example is a government company should hold more than 51% in this company, subsidiary. This company should become subsidiary. In those two examples, it's a government company. You'll see one example where you'll understand why it's not a government company. So these dates are very important. We'll be very, very careful. For a government company, right, the first auditor will be appointed by this CAG. Who is the CAG? Controller and Auditor General. So for government company, board of directors do not appoint. It is the CAG, the Controller and Auditor. See, the Controller and Auditor General will have what is known as a panel. Now, eligible firms of chartered accountants will enroll themselves in that panel, CAG panel. From that panel, the CAG will select a suitable auditor and appoint him. This has to be done within 60 days of registration. So on incorporation, the ministry which is involved in that incorporation will send a request officially to CAG. Now, CAG may take some time because I told you the other day, government departments have their own time, pace, speed, slow, never fast, slow. Okay. So once you enter a government department building, time will stop. Do not expect time to move. Simply they will say, please wait. You have to wait. Till when they are ready to meet you, they will meet you. Wait. 40 years of practice down the line, I'm telling, patience I developed. In fact, sorry to digress, but quickly to tell you this, some of you may be saying, sir, I'm very busy with my articles. I don't have time to study and all. When I was doing my company secretary, I was a full-fledged startup practitioner. That is, I just started my practice first 2 years, 1991, just to come out of Pricewaterhouse in 89, around that time, and started my own practice, partner of Karpagam & Co., which is a dummy. I was the main guy there, trying to promote the firm and getting new audits, new work. Heavy pressure every day. Pressure. But I also decided to become a company secretary. So I have to study. When will I get the time to study? I go off to work at morning 9:30, do my puja and all, then take my motorbike and go. Evening, I don't know when I will come. 8:30, 7:30. My office, client office, continuous monitoring. When I will study. So what I used to do, I used to take the chapters. It was not a book like what you have now. In those days, the institute used to give topic-wise in separate booklets. So what I will do is I'll take as per my timetable, what I have to study today, put it in my briefcase and I will go with the notes, some pen and paper. Then when I'm going to the income tax office, additional commissioner hearing, appointed time, 10:30 a.m. I'll be there at 10:15 ready. That sub group D will come. Sir, saab busy hai. Wait. No problem. I will sit, open my briefcase, take out my institute material, start studying. He takes half an hour, no problem, half an hour studying time for me. And valuably spent because I was waiting for the income officer. I'm not wasting my time. Nobody can, people can make you wait, but wasting is a choice. I have decided not to waste my time. So I used to study. In fact, once that additional commissioner came out, one of those guys came out for going to the washroom. He saw me studying. He called me. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Sir, I'm studying for my ACS." He was so impressed. He called me and said, "What is this, sir? You're studying and all that." Yes, sir, what to do, sir? I don't have time. At this time only, he was so impressed that he gave me a favorable hearing and he actually gave me, I mean, in all fairness, the facts were in, see, even with all the facts being in my favor, the department has its own way of rejecting. So in that case, he gave me a favorable view and he sent me. Sorry for giving these anecdotes, but humble request, do not waste even 1 minute of your time. That minute won't come again. Please, luckily for us, we did not have social media. Today, this devil will take you. Don't let it waste. Don't allow it to make you waste even 1 minute of your time. Okay. For the next, whatever time it takes to complete intermediate, forget all other life activities, movies, cricket. Sir, once you become a member of the institute, you enjoy your life, sir. Who can prevent you? Now, please concentrate. Do not allow your mind to wander. See, if these fellows don't win IPL, what is our problem? Yeah, next year other fellows will come. They will win. They will lose. They will make money. Your life is gone. If you waste your time on cricket or on movies, in this valuable, precious time of life, don't allow your mind to go there. Humble request. Don't mistake me if I have wasted your time. Okay, but humble, and from a man who did it, 3 years, sannyas, brahmacharya, sannyas, no other thought. Goal, maintain the goal, becoming a member of the institute. Don't let it go. Okay, don't other things later on. But 21, 20, I am now 6. I tell you, I've enjoyed my life. I've traveled all over the world, all because I became a member when I was 21. So that is more important than this cricket and all that. Cricket, you may say IPL won't be there when you are in down the lane. IPL won't be there. It will be there. Don't worry. At that time, you enjoy the IPL match. Okay, now you let it go. Forward. Okay. Right, coming to the point. CAG within 6 weeks takes time. Then the board of directors within the next 30 days on the expiry of also does not do it, then within 60 days, the members have to appoint at EGM. So 120 days, got appointed auditors. Okay. So that auditor is called first auditor. That auditor will hold office until conclusion of first AG. I will explain the reason for conclusion. So this is government company. An auditor within 30 days. Sir, the position of an auditor of a auditor is there. You cannot say, no company can say, we don't want from some companies from audit. Those companies are okay. If audit is applicable to you, then you should have an audit. So the 30 days is given when you can be without auditor. Within 30 days, many registrar, the company has to appoint the auditor, inform the registrar, all that has to happen. The 30 days, including appointment of your first auditor. The board can appoint. First auditor. In case the board fails to appoint, then within 90 days, an auditor at an EGM. If they don't do that, penalty is there. You'll see the penalty. This section. You remember, we have to go to 250, 450. Okay. Now, because as I told you, A company cannot be a situation. The chairman bangs the gavel. Meeting starts. Now, director. Later on, when you come to final self-paced module, you will learn on your own about director will retire, right? Whereas auditor will continue. If he is reappointed, he will continue. If some other auditor is appointed, then hold his office. At the conclusion, two things could happen. One, you could reappoint him. Whatever it is, it will continue. It's like a baton. He will hold it. If you do not hold AGM, if you do not appoint or reappoint audit, or else the directors are liable to stiff penalty. Better not allow that to happen. Somebody had a doubt also on this. Somebody is asking for anybody. Only in those days for emergency, we used to give telegram. Now SMS is there. Okay, please check it out with the institute. I know what is Telegram, don't worry. It's an app. I know that. I don't know about all that. I don't know whether there's a Telegram link and all. Okay, please, don't ask, shall we say, after first AGM, Mr. Anil is jumping as usual. He's in a hurry. Go on, go on, go on. Yeah. Okay. Private Limited was incorporated on 7/4/2021. Okay, wherein they appointed John Jacob and Associates as the first situation. Please give your answer. It's a multiple choice. Just if you want, just have a look. Silver tongue. They appointed the auditor for a period of. Why we will see later. Just give A, B, C, or D. FR. What is FR? FR in number is there. SR I know, Southern region. WR I can see. NR and not. CR central. D, B, B. Uh-huh. Okay. Auditor cannot be appointed for 5 years. He or it not even 1 year. Till the, don't say even 1 year, till the conclusion. Because the next AGM will be held even 15 months later, within 15 months. So, till the conclusion of the first. A. The answer is A, invalid. Have you understood why it is invalid? All of you are going only by 1 month. Within 1, or else you are saying valid after approval of shareholder in general meeting. Nothing like that. Share. When the first AGM, he will be reappointed. He will be can be appointed only till the conclusion of the first AGM. That is why I see. Simple 16.4 is valid. What is that? Yeah. 16. Have you understood the reason why A is correct? Can one of correct answer? Have you understood why? Because if you have not understood, then you 5 years. No. Only till the conclusion of first AGM. You got it? CA Institute, CA exam questions are catching you. Yeah. Don't be in a hurry. That is why I'm very worried, because the institute exam, hurrying people will be in trouble. Those who are saying I don't. First auditor can be appointed only for, and there is a term of 5 years. This is the problem. Therefore, it is invalid. They appointed for a term which is more than one, beyond the first conclusion stage. The board does not have the power to appoint the first auditor for a period beyond the. I am not able to, but I have explained it in any way. I hope you have understood. The problem with human being is, once we give an answer, no, we do not want to be seen as wrong. No problem in accepting that you are wrong. You will learn and move on. The more you argue that you are right when you are wrong, the more you will stay in the ignorance. I've seen this happen. All that. Yeah. So my suggestion, don't be like that. Once you understood it, and move on. So many people have taught me, not necessarily my teacher. My teachers have taught me so much. Corrected me. I worship him as a guru. Okay. Because he gave me the knowledge that I needed. Okay. Thank you. Much of what I told now, you have not heard. I'm happy because it was not relevant. I hope you. Again, it's a problem. I'll explain to you. I will not wait for your answer. Managing Director of PQR Limited. Comment on the proposed action of the MD. This again is very important. The first audit D. MD does not have the power to appoint the first. Correct. So nice. Absolutely correct. Appointment can only be done by the board, not by a single director. Okay. Even MD cannot appoint. Beautifully said. Thank you, sir. Company Limited, General Insurance, 10% of the subscribed capital. Maharashtra, 10% of the subscribed capital of the company. Advise the company whether the provisions relate like whether it's a government company or whether it's other than government company. Can give an answer. Correct, Sushmita ji, absolutely correct. So it is the definition of government company is 50. Yeah, let's see if somebody. Government company. Sridhar ji, it's not a government company. Why? Anil ji. Government company means, see, if you total up also 12 plus 10, 22 plus 8, 30. Should hold more than 51%. Or a state government, one single state government should hold more than 51%. Combination of central government and one or more state governments should hold more than 51%. Or it should be Bank of Baroda is the nationalized bank. It may be, even to my knowledge, even Bank of Baroda is not a government. I don't know. I don't care. All I'm saying is Bank of Baroda is not government. It is a government company. State Finance Corporation is a government company. They are government companies, but none of them is a holding company. Could be called joint venture company, but it is not a joint company, right? Public and of business, getting out of running companies and all. So having said that, combination thereof, nor is it a subsidiary of a government company. Therefore, it is not a government company. Therefore, the provisions relating to appointment of auditor in case of government company are not applicable to it. Yeah, our boss, ICAI. Beautiful, beautiful, Isha ji. Beautiful, beautiful. Government, etc., etc. Now, Mr. Anil's question will be answered before we say goodbye. Subsequent auditor. At the first AGM, see, board of directors. Till the conclusion of the first AGM. Now, at the first AGM, here again, we will have to go for separately for government and for other than government. And within 180 days of commencement of financial year, sir. This is a big thing there. It's all CAG and days. So today 1/4 onwards, 1/4 onwards, they have time for 6 months. Continued now, he will be auditing, right? While he is doing his audit now, they will be approaching CAG. begging CAG, sir, please tell who is the auditor, or why should they beg? They'll simply send a notice saying our auditor's appointment, or they might have a new auditor. But for government company, gentlemen, your honors, please make a note of this. For government company, every year, it was before this enlightened Companies Act 2013, the old law may will inform within 180 days, and at the AGM, at the first AGM, before the conclusion, will be appointed. Who will hold office until the conclusion of the next AGM? Okay. Now, other than government company, over either you reappoint him or you appoint another auditor. But now, he will hold office from conclusion of the first AGM till conclusion of sixth. And this members will, in the case of other than government company, appointment is by member. Days. Based on that, that fellow will hold office until, of course, at the AGM, what they will do, based on the CAG's direction, they will pass a resolution appointing this guy to hold office until members will reappoint him, the same or another person who will hold office from. Thereby, I have answered Mr. Anil's question. Correct? I know, Mr. Still something is happening, and it's too late in the session, another 5 minutes. Bear with me. In fact, I was in Trichy for the last 2 classes. I was in Trichy, where to US citizens who come to Sri Rangam for visiting temple. So the connection was excellent in I don't know, FRO, I don't know what that is. Yeah. I would like to know. I don't. Anyway, wherever, whoever it is, let them be happy. So long as messages from students that they have passed CA, they are now chartered accountant and all. So happy from across the thing, mostly from UP. I had a lot of things. Once I was just one for Darshan of Ramlala. Oh, that girl, she helped me out with Darshan and all. For money, yeah. We became teachers for the pleasure of teaching and helping people to become in the company secretary institute. I'm now 60 years old. I'm still teaching for the pleasure of teaching. Oh, okay. Thank you, Anilji. So these people must be in Dubai, Muscat, somewhere. Somebody from abroad is attending. So happy. So of course, I've forward. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. Fantastic. One-fourth of the subscribed capital of AMC Limited was held by the government of Rajasthan. Mr. Neer 30th April by an ordinary resolution. Mr. Sanjay, a shareholder of the company, objects. Is that correct? Is Neeraj's appointment valid? One-fourth, 25%. So AMC Limited is not a government company. This is not only for the first AGM. Thereafter, at the 6th AGM, again, like that. So in every AGM, that person will be reappointed for a further period of So that is how it is. So appointment of auditor is ordinary resolution, absolutely valid. Special resolution later on for appointing a person other than retiring auditor, I will tell you that there is a need for special notice, which is totally alage from special resolution. So hit it into your head and tell appointment of auditor, ordinary resolution. I would also remember this dialogues I gave. Appointment of auditor, ordinary resolution. In the old law, there was one provision for special resolution. Now in the new law, nothing. All are ordinary. Okay. Person other than the retiring auditor, we will see it later. It is a special notice. (25 plus 33). 25 plus 33 is 58. CAG should appoint within 180 days. Okay. So this is the correct answer. Vijay Doshi. Sorry for the slight disturbances during the session. Next time I'll hope to get wonderful. We had a wonderful time and I have completed the topic exactly where I wanted. Procedure for appointment of auditor, etc., etc., etc. Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much. You all again on Monday. If not specified, question ask about subsequent auditor. Okay. Because here very clearly says AGM. Yeah. Since if you have a doubt, that it is subsequent auditor. Yeah. Write that. Say correctly, subsequent auditor. It's assumed that it is for subsequent auditor. Great. Thank you, madam. Nice. Great country. I visited Nepal 3 times. So let's call it a day. जी क्लास खत्म हो गया
हेलो